Hi friends, welcome back to Parnika Tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss about keywords in R programming language. So I sincerely request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. Keywords are reserved words which has a specified meaning. We cannot change the meaning of the keywords, and keywords cannot be used as an identifiers because identifier is what? Identifier is a name given to the variable, array, function, class, etc. Now keywords are the reserved words which has a specified meaning. So you cannot use keywords as an identifiers. Let me go to the R Studio and display how many keywords R programming language supports for you. Okay, let me open the R Studio. If you want to look at the reserved words or the keywords, you can display in two ways. You can write help, within the braces you can write reserved and press enter. I have written the reserved words spelling wrongly. Let me write it properly and let me press enter. Now you can see reserved words in R. The reserved words in R's parser are if, else, repeat, while, function, for, next, break, true, false, null, INF, NaN, NA, NA underscore integer, NA underscore real, NA underscore complex, NA underscore character. So these many reserved words or the keywords R programming language supports. The other way to display the reserved words is you need to give the question mark and then you need to write reserved and then press enter. Now also you can observe the reserved words in the R programming language. So the reserved words which has a specified meaning, and if you observe most of the reserved words or the keywords are there in the lower case only. If you look at IF which is in lower case. Now if I write IF in the lower case, then I can call it as a reserved word or the keyword. If I write in capital letters IF, then it will not be a keyword or a reserved word. So these are the reserved words or the keywords R programming language supports for you. Now if you look at the first reserved word, which is if. The if reserved word is useful for decision making. If a certain condition is true, you want to execute certain statements, then you can use the if. If the condition is false, you don't want to execute the statement. So you will have an if and a condition, and then you will have a group of statements or a block of statements. If the condition is true, the block of statements will be executed. If the condition is false, this block of statements will not be executed. So if generally useful in decision making. Similarly, you have the else. Else will be useful whenever the if condition is false. If you want to execute certain block of statements, then you will use the else. So you will have if and else. If you will have a condition, if the condition is true, the if block statements will be executed. If the condition is false, the if block statements will not be executed. However, the statements which are there in the else block will be executed. Now if you observe the next reserved word, which is a repeat. Repeat is a simple loop that will run the group of statements or a set of statements repeatedly until the stop condition has been encountered. Whenever you want to execute a block of statements or a group of statements iteratively, then we can use the loops. One of the loop is repeat, which is a simple loop. It will be executing a group of statements until the stop condition has been encountered. And if you observe, the next reserved word is while. While is also one of the iterative statement which will verify a certain condition. If the condition is true, then the statements which are there in the while block will be executed. Then again it will go for the increment or decrement. Again it will verify the condition. It will execute the statement till the condition is false. Then if you want to define any function in R programming language, you need to use the keyword called function. As I said earlier, the repeat, while, for is useful for you to execute a set of statements or a block of statements iteratively. And the next one you have is the next keyword. It is used to skip the current iteration without loop termination. You have written a loop. If a certain condition is true, you don't want to execute the statements. You need to go to the next iteration. Then you can use the next. The people who knows the other programming language like C, Python, there you have a continue statement. What is the purpose of the continue statement or continue keyword is you want to skip the statements for the current iteration and go for the next iteration. The similar work will be done by the keyword called next in R programming language, and break keyword is useful to terminate the loop, and we have the true and false, which are the boolean values. If certain condition is true, you will get true. If the condition is false, you will get the boolean value as false. So true and false are used to represent the boolean true and false. And then you have the null keyword, which represents the null object. Null is generally used to represent the undefined value or missing value. And then you have INF keyword, which represents the infinity. Whenever you are dividing a numerator by denominator and you have given the denominator as 0, you will get infinity. That infinity will be displayed with the keyword called INF. And then you have the positive infinity and the negative infinity. If the numerator is a positive number and you are dividing by 0, you will get positive infinity. If the denominator is 0 and the numerator is a negative number, you will get negative infinity. So INF represents the infinity. NaN represents not a number. And then NA represents not available, which is generally used to represent the missing values. In that one, you have the subcategories. Whenever you want to represent a missing value, which is an integer, then you will use the keyword called NA underscore integer underscore. If the value which is missing is a real number, then you will write NA underscore real underscore. And then if it is a complex number, you will use NA underscore complex underscore. If it is a character, NA underscore character underscore. So NA is not available and use it to represent the missing values. I hope you have understood all the keywords or the reserved words which supports by the R programming language. If you still have any doubts related to this concept, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.